India is not a country that got colonized by the Britishers just in terms of its economy. Our culture, our religion, our rituals, our societal practices, everything got colonized and changed according to the Victorian legacies and their beliefs. One such system that got modified and gradually criminalized by the Britishers were the Devadasi system, and that is what we are going to discuss in this video today. Before understanding how the system was colonized and criminalized eventually, let us first understand what is a Devadasi system and what does the term Devadasi mean. A Devadasi system is where a girl, upon reaching the age of puberty, gets married to a deity in a temple. Post the ceremonies of marriage, the girl becomes the wife of the deity, and forever, till the time the girl survives, she remains a married woman. This is a system where the girl never becomes a widow or leaves the life of being a Devadasi. Devadasis were very respected members of the society, and they wore a special Mangal Sutra, which was believed to be worn by women who were eternally married. These are the women who take care of the temple, clean the temple, provide food to the deity, and perform classical dance for religious festivals and ceremonies in public areas. This system was not just limited to women. Men too became Devadasas. What does the term Devadasa or Devadasi mean? Dev means God and Dasi means servant. So these people were essentially servants of God. They served the deity of the temple and also took care of the temple. As the name suggests and as the job of the person suggests, these were not people who were involved in any form of immoral activity or any form of activities that are not societally accepted. They were essentially musicians and dancers who presented classical dance at religious ceremonies. Now, what is a classical dance form? For example, we have Odissi, Kuchipudi, Bharatnatyam. What are all of these classical dance forms in India and what do they represent? These dance forms retell stories of Hindu deities and their lives. Essentially, the system originally started in the 6th century, where families believed that if they devote one daughter to the temple and get them married to the deity would become happy and bless the family. These women often belonged to courtesan families or had ties with them, but they were not courtesans themselves. There is a difference between a Devadasi, a courtesan, and a prostitute. A courtesan performed classical dance in presence of the Nawabs and rich people for enticing them, for making them feel happy, and for entertaining them. Prostitutes were people who engaged in sexual activities with various men to earn a livelihood. But Devadasis were women who danced at public gatherings as a form of devotion to the god. They were not married or had immoral relations with anybody else. This system of Devadasi was completely misunderstood and judged by the Mughals and the Europeans. Such a concept was completely new for the Britishers. They could not accept that women could have such powerful social presence and be morally correct. They declared such a dance form or such presence of women in public areas to be immoral. During the Mughal rule too, many of these temples where the Devadasis performed were broken and demolished by the leaders. Britishers too followed this system, and many of the places where the Devadasis resided were demolished by the Britishers. What this led to was economic downfall of all these Devadasis and Devadasas. They were people who were initially very rich and held strong social positions, but because their livelihood was taken away from them, the temples were broken, their practices were not being favored by the audience, they resorted to other means to live their lives. Many of these Devdasis then became courtesans and prostitutes to earn a livelihood. They started living or developing relations with rich men and Nawab who would then take care of them and their life. This also led to a degradation of their status in the society, as now they were looked upon as mistresses of rich men. The Britishers eventually criminalized the Devdasi system, and gradually many such laws came up to ban this system in India. Some of them are the Bombay Devdasi Protection Act 1934, Madras Devdasi Prevention of Dedication Act 1947, Karnataka Devdasi Prohibition of Dedication Act 1982, Andhra Pradesh Devdasi Prohibition of Dedication Act 1988, Maharashtra Devdasi Abolition of Dedication Act 2006, Juvenile Justice Act 2015. Such laws became more and more prevalent in the modern times because, with degrading social status, poor financial conditions, and many Devdasis resorting to becoming mistresses of rich men, the whole idea of devotion to the god took a back seat. Many cases also were reported where small children were forced into becoming Devdasis. It was believed that many women who wanted to be Devdasis or girls who wanted to be Devdasis and devotees were forced to become prostitutes and mistresses. To protect such women and to protect the girls who were not even 18 years of age, many such laws came up. To stop abandoning young girls in the name of a tradition for sexual exploitation and prostitution, Immoral Traffic Prevention Act 1956 was passed. Although this system is illegal in India now, there are many small pockets in the country where it is practiced. Women are forced to become prostitutes and mistresses in the name of devotion of God. Religion is misused by many such people for money and for exploitation of the young. There are still two sides to the debate. Some people believe that it was the Britishers who colonized the cultural identity and rituals of the country and therefore criminalized many such rituals in our country. On the other hand, some people believe that if it was not for the Britishers and their rules, we would still be slaves to such morally incorrect practices in India, and we would still have practices like the Devdasi system in India. The British established Section 372 and 373 of their penal code to outlaw selling minors for the purpose of prostitution and buying minors for the purpose of prostitution respectively. Here, the British sexualized the art of classical dance as uncivilized body movements and enforced a taboo by criminalizing normalized sexual practices. This is also a way in which the Britishers colonized the sexual freedom that existed in India before they arrived.